As we are our next video, education for four very different daughters. This is my stream of consciousness series. That's a tongue twister. If you'd like to understand what I'm doing, I invite you please go back to the initial video so you understand what I'm doing. I am recording 30 topics in 3 straight hours, 5-minute limit each, no editing whatsoever. Quick recap right there. And so let's talk about education for four very different daughters. So with my four girls, all of which have very different brains. Now, I know it can be very difficult for some people to understand, but there's more than one learning style. I have probably stood up on a soapbox and been saying that for at least 15 years. I know that I was a mystery to many teachers of my day. And I find it to be very fun, the fact that I will get invited in to be the keynote speaker with auditoriums full of teachers. And I will begin those conversations with opening lines like this. Wow, I used to hate about 75% of you people. And actually everyone laughs. That's comedy for you. I was the ADHD individual, which is not a disorder, by the way. We're definitely going to be, that's in, those topics are definitely in that bowl. But this was my greatest gift. My brain worked differently, but unfortunately, when I was growing up, this was not something that was very well understood. And I can talk about me till the cows come home, but I want to talk about my girls. So my eldest daughter, I'm gonna save the names because they'll probably kill me in my sleep if I start throwing names around. But my eldest daughter, brain kind of very similar to mine. My second daughter, brain very similar to my wife's, to Janice. My third daughter, literally the younger female manifestation of me, and my younger daughter, again, more like my wife. Now, those are very, very broad stroke terms. But for the sake of time, even though that my two eldest daughters have traveled in a different direction, I will share a story about my youngest two girls. So, and this is just kind of give you the point. We homeschooled the girls for the first little while, and the reason we did that is because, number one, my wife is a natural teacher. If it was up to me to be homeschooling them, it probably would have been a different world. I took the adventures. I did the science. I did the geography because I love that stuff, and Jana handled a lot of the other topics. And then we put them in school because we wanted them to, have friends, and but not that they were socially awkward because they had tons of cousins to play with. But I digress. But when we put them back in school, I think this would be like grade 7, 8 type of territory. A very interesting thing happened. My third youngest daughter was going through a terrible time because she, as the diagnosed ADHD problem child who couldn't sit still in the classroom, was driving everyone crazy, wasn't getting her assignments done, and she was going through a terrible time being bullied. Whereas my youngest daughter was getting A pluses across the board and was every teacher's just dream child. Here's the problem. When I'm sitting here talking to my girls afterwards, I'd be looking at I'm going to name the names here. I'm looking at Rhea. She at the time was the older of the two. Rhea and Glory was the youngest. And I'm looking at Rhea. And Rhea, who couldn't get her work done, couldn't sit still in the classroom. This kid, when she's not in school, is reading encyclopedias till the cows come home. She has a brain that is an absolute sponge for learning. And Glory, my youngest, who was getting the A pluses, was killing it on the report cards. But when I was asking her the stuff that she was learning, she couldn't remember a damn thing. If they were to square off in a competition, they were only a year and a half apart. Rhea would clean her clock, and Glory's brain is brilliant. Don't get me wrong, but while I came back at that time, I walked into the school and I was listening to what was going on and talked to all the teachers, and I looked at Rhea, and I'm like, this is damaging her. Like this particular experience is hurting her, and we're going to take her out of school. We're going to bring her back for a season before we put her back in because she's being bullied. This isn't a situation where she just had to handle it. It was awful. But at the same time, you wouldn't have thought that there would be any issue with what was going on with Glory, but there was, because Glory would have a panic attack every time there was a test. Glory would lose her mind if she ever didn't miss a question, if she was late on an assignment, she was convinced that somebody was going to be mad at her, that her teachers were going to be disappointed with her. And I realized that my daughter, in her brain, was learning how to tell people what they want to hear, which is fear-based. So we pulled them both out of school, set them on a different path, and they're doing much better now. Rhea has been recovering from what's happened to her, and that's worked to her advantage. And Glory, who is a year and a half younger, is learning how to handle the anxiety and learning about how fear, as a motivation to do anything, is a complete and total, that is an injustice to our very person, to ourselves. Again, another topic I can talk for hours about. All right, another 5 minutes done. Switching topics now. Ooh, good one. In our next video, we will talk about men wear more makeup than women. Make sure you tune in.